Friends, welcome back. How are you doing? It's been a while. I've been missing in action for the last week, although not because I haven't been doing anything. I've been away with Charlie. We went to North Wales for, I think it was like 5 days. So it led to me to do a couple of Strava KOM attempts. Making them fun, of course, as I do, trying to fit them in with life things. We stayed not far from Bala, and we actually did a fair bit of travelling. So we travelled to a couple of climbs, but this climb in particular, there's another video to come out after this one. So you're treated to two of these beauties. This one is called Stwlan Dam. And as you can guess, it goes up to the top of a dam or like a power station. So this climb, I don't want to bodge the data, but I think it's 2.7 kilometers at a smidge under 10% average gradient. There is a flat-ish section in the middle, which we'll come to in a second, and then it's fairly steady either side of that flat section. So it really suits, I guess, somebody who likes climbing up the saddle, someone who can recover quite quickly on that flat section and go again. I think, to give you a bit of data, I averaged 415 watts. My VAM was a smidge under 2000, and what else have we got here? Speed 19.4 k/h. So I actually did the segment in 8 minutes 26 seconds. Spoiler alert, I did take the KOM, but this footage is from the day before I took the KOM. So I went wrong. I actually went the wrong way near the top of this climb, which you'll see in a bit. I went the wrong way, and I had to come back the next day, which I have to say I probably didn't have as good legs the next day as I did on this day. Of course, I would say that, but I still think I was there or thereabouts. But I did an 8 minutes 26 seconds, and the KOM was 20 seconds slower than that. So fairly substantial over what you'd consider like, I'd say it's kind of like a medium length climb, would you say? Like 8 minutes is like a medium length for the UK. Like you usually get like the short ones, which are like 3 to 5 minutes, I guess. And then you have like the extra long ones, which are like, I know some of you are going to laugh at this, but like, I guess anything over like that 30-minute mark, I think you'd call like a long climb. Like you're talking over 5 kilometers there, maybe. Obviously depends on the steepness. But this climb, I really enjoyed this one because it had, I had a very, very slight tailwind. But once you go over a certain speed, especially on a climb where like, you know, you can see I'm doing 18 kilometers an hour here, so I'm like barely over 10 mile an hour. The effect of a tailwind is marginal. Gravity is obviously the biggest brake on your actual effort. A climb like this actually suits me, and I was looking forward to doing it because I knew that it was like a drag strip climb, and I really enjoy the climbs that have some form of like tactics to them. So like with this one has that little flat section which I'm just coming to. So as you can see, I'm out the saddle like right now, powering over this last little section just to get me onto this flat section. You can see the gradient go down to 4%, and I really enjoy the climbs that change like this and have like a definite point where tactically you can get up the climb faster if you use your power wisely. So I knock my power back to like 300 watts now, whereas prior to this I was doing 400, which is like, that's obviously a lot. But if you look at my speed, I'm doing 25 mile an hour, 40 kilometers an hour, and my heart rate is like stabilizing. If anything, it's dropped ever so slightly. This bit of tarmac is perfect. So if those of you, I mean, this is a fairly famous climb in Wales. It's well documented in the 100 Climbs book and the app, if you've got that. Simon Warren really rates his climb. And now that it's tarmacked from here to the top with this really smooth asphalt, it's like it feels like a nice climb. There's Charlie on the left taking a video of me. So I come into this next section, and this is where you come into the hairpins. So you've got like this first really wide right-hander hairpin. Try not to be distracted by the wonderful view on the left, which you can't see from the GoPro, but I could see while I was at 180 beats per minute. So you take this, and this is like the start then of like trying to find to me there was no rhythm to this bit, like, because the gradient was always changing in and out of the hairpins. It wasn't like an alpine climb in a way where it's fairly steady gradient. If you chose to go inside the hairpin, it was pretty steep, or rather steep enough to make you change gear. And then if you go wide, you can get away with not having to change gear as much. I was in the big ring all the way up this climb until I hit this point just back there where the new tarmac started, and partly down to that very small tailwind. I think it was like 5-6 mile an hour tailwind, but partly down to, I think, my mindset. Once I know I'm in the big ring, I will just grind it out. Like, obviously I won't let my cadence drop below 80, but I will enjoy the sensation that I'm pushing a massive gear, although massive gear like 52-28 or whatever it is, but you're in the big dog, like just trying to get over the gear and up this climb as quick as possible. There's a little psychological game there. So this climb, according to the KOM split, the comparison on Strava, I was actually I was putting time into the KOM time continuously all the way up this climb. So there wasn't a moment where I put in more time. You'd think that, if I set off hard, then I would have put more time in there. And then, maybe I was just like holding pace for pace in the last couple of 100 meters. That wasn't the case. I was putting time in everywhere, even though as you go around these hairpins, you start to come into a little bit of a headwind. So the climb itself, like, because you can see the dam on your right, just there in the top right-hand corner of the screen, that's the dam wall. Because you can see that, it really doesn't give you a sense of how close you are to the top, because as you'll see in a minute, you actually get to it pretty quick, but it actually looks really far away. So we're only probably about 2 minutes, if that, from the finish here. And I think it's the next hairpin. I know you can see I'm taking these hairpins quite tight, but I could hear what was coming. I could see up, so I could see around the hairpin before I got to it, if there was anything there. Now, this is the moment I go wrong. So I take this left, and I notice this wall on my right, and I'm like, the tarmac has changed. It's not as good tarmac. Then it levels off, and then I'm heading towards the wall, the down wall, and I realise, like, now, I actually realised earlier than that I'd gone the wrong way. So I had to do a quick UE. Not ideal, I know. Where I managed to do, that's probably the best U-turn I've ever done, actually. And then blast straight back down here. And then this is quite a sharp left-hander now. And I had to be careful not to run into the stones on the side of the road. And then there was a sheep coming out of nowhere here on the inside of the hairpin. But this is a pretty steep section, 13%. Does it go up to 15? I can't quite remember. But I was out the saddle here. The next day, when I actually came back and took the KOM, it was similar conditions. Everything was basically the same, apart from me not going the wrong way there. And I didn't finish this well. So there's a lot of positives to be taken from, even though I went the wrong way there and I had like an extra 20 seconds of recovery during the climb. I was able to come out of that hairpin and give it full gas to the finish, like 500, 450 watts, which I wasn't able to do at the end of the effort the next day when I took the KOM. So I was able to recover very quickly in that short space of time. Luckily, that sheep didn't end my my effort there, but we made it to the top, and the dead end at the very top, which is here, and I do a proper job of basically collapsing on the floor. Which I rarely do, but I was in a bit of a bad way. This was like the first effort on the first day up on my little North Wales camp. So I was quite fresh, to say the least. And because I was so fresh, I was just like jelly at the top. and I just had to sit down and get my breath back. Although it looks like I'm smiling, I'm not really smiling. I'm just grimacing. That's a great view there, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, I thank you so much for watching. As always, if you've got any questions down below, leave them down below. Sorry, excuse me. And we'll see you for another one of these very, very soon. I hope you enjoyed it. And that was a nice little awesome climb ticked off. Stwlan Dam.